is real. Hello, everyone, and it's an honor to be here. And I'm actually here with Dr. Claudia Gutierrez. And Richard is fabulous, but he is her husband.
Yeah, I'm using his Zoom.
That's great. So great. And it's such an honor to have you here with me, Claudia. You are a treasure in the world and in my life. And thank you for agreeing to be with me here today. And she's a healer and a mother and a partner and a medicine woman and a physician. And such a gift to have you here with me today on our Real Medicine Talks. And so I always like to start with a prayer. Is there a prayer that you think would be beneficial today? Would you like to introduce us or to call in the good, the true, and the beautiful to be with us today, Claudia? Or would you rather I do it? Or
I think you're very good at praying. So I think it will go better if you do it.
Okay, amor. Un momento. Oh, great and beautiful mystery. Please come and be here with us and hold us in this time together. And we know that everything changes and everything is moving as it always has been and as it always will be. And we ask that you will protect and give comfort to those who need it at this time and guide all of us to do the right thing for one another and for the sweet face of Mother Nature. And please bless this conversation today with this sacred person who lives in my heart for all this time. And may her life be blessed, her children, her partner, and her work. Thank you. Welcome in, Great Mystery. We thank the spirits of land and place for allowing us to be here. We give thanks to you, Creator. This is your work, and we place it in your own so capable hands. Oh, amen.
Oh.
So Claudia, you and I've had many, many conversations, probably thousands.
Yeah, we've been having some fun.
Thousands of them over many lifetimes, right? Yeah. And so I wanted to start this conversation with a question that is really in the title of this video, which is Real Medicine. And so I wanted to ask you, like, what is real medicine to you? What does real medicine mean to you?
Well, real medicine for me means what will heal you, what is real for you, because every person has a different interpretation of reality.
Yeah, that's
true. So, and medicine, the word medicine is something that will bring you balance, that will heal your body, that will, or maybe your mind, or maybe your spirit, whatever is needing the healing. So for me, real medicine is that that thing that bring you to balance, that thing that help you live, that help you feel good, that help you thrive in life. And medicine has many faces, and what I've been learning through the years is that different people responds different to every medicine. So there's not like one universal medicine that, like in the 50s, they thought that aspirin will be good for everything, but yeah, it was good for many things. But now we know that there's many medicines. So for me, real medicine is what will be real for you, what will bring you into your balance, what will bring you into yourself, what will make you feel good and thrive in your life.
And what do you find helps you to thrive in your life, Claudia? Like, what is it that nurtures, nourishes, and what gives you those feelings personally? Like, what is your Yeah, personal medicine.
Personally, well, I am very social. So for me, a lot of healing happens when I talk. Like I can even talk to myself. I don't even need another person. But like talking, expressing something that is, I'm an extroverted person.
Mm.
So it has to go out for me, so I can process things. Other thing that helped me is mm, to be with other people, to have that contact. To um, I'm very interested in everyone, and I love stories. So I like to tell stories, and I like to hear stories,
Mm.
and that has been showing very healing and effective, especially in this time that I'm living in Sweden as a foreign person. In Sweden specifically, it's very lonely. Like Swedish people don't, they are not famous for being the most social and party and warmth people. So
Mm.
I've been meeting a lot of people from other places of the world. Like I have a friend from India, I have another friend from Africa, from Nigeria, and I've been meeting a lot of people from Syria and Afghanistan and um, all these uh, places from Middle East that I didn't even know they existed. But I have noticed that these people are more social like me,
Oh, interesting.
and it's very interesting. We have just crossed sometimes and talk about some story that is happening, and we always find that we needed to be heard, and in
Mm.
this really stereo Swedish society is not so easy to find that in the streets, or in Mexico you can talk even in the bus with the people.
I mean,
But
yeah,
here,
you are Mexican. You are from Mexico, and
yeah, I'm from Mexico. Yeah.
it's a beautiful place. So from Mexico to Sweden that's a
It's like
real,
the opposite.
yeah, climate and right. I mean,
Yeah.
everything's muy diferente.
Muy diferente.
Sí,
Y muy frío.
muy frío. It's so cold. It's so cold there.
Yeah.
And, so it's so interesting. I think that we do reflect our climate and the seasons and the cycles and that and so probably people there have begun to go into hibernation, into deep hibernation, and so it's
Yeah.
very different there. So there's a lot of lot of change for you, a lot of transition, a lot of
Yeah.
to do things differently. And um, it's interesting. It's it's interesting. I was thinking about our conversation and a couple of weeks ago, and when I asked you to come and to be in this conversation, and I asked, what do you think we should talk about? And I loved what you said, and it's really just kind of stayed with me over this 2 weeks preparing for our talk, and it was humor. You were saying that
Mm.
humor um, is something that's really needed in this time, and because we're in a time, we're in a
This is the time.
time, yes, somewhat.
Yeah.
And you and I, and much of our work together, we have been to many places together and explored many traditions, and the Mayan calendar is one of them.
Mm.
And you are also a protege of Adalberto Rivera and
Mm.
carry his wisdom and his knowledge in addition to your own knowledge, and in addition to our teaching together
Mm.
in your, a skilled visionary and practitioner and medicine person. But this is a wisdom and a vision that you carry from him also. And it's interesting to think about the Mayan calendar, and how we talked about 2020,
Yeah.
20, 13, and all of the different numbers in the calendar and what they mean.
Hmm.
So it's interesting that now this is our time, and we have, yeah,
Yeah.
this week turning. So I just curious, like all of those thoughts were running through my head as we were preparing.
Well, it's so interesting that you mentioned this. Interesting, meaning like, you know.
No.
But I was talking with Araceli Dominguez
Sí.
just a few days ago, our other medicine woman in Mexico.
Sí.
Fantastic. Yeah, she's amazing in every way. And I was saying to her exactly this, that not too long ago I had a dream with Don Adalberto Rivera.
Oh, Claudia.
And yeah, so we talk about how he passed on everything that he knew that was on its way for coming to this time. His work was a lot about the Mayan calendar and the 2012,
Sí.
and how they were speaking about this period of time in their calendar where the sun will show us the signs that the transformation is going to be starting when the sun turns its face into a macaw. And the solar explosions have been registered. So I was talking to her. I was remembering how Don Adalberto, he prepared. He knew this was coming maybe 35 years ago, maybe 40. I don't know. He wrote the books, and he was prepared. And his place, Ocan, he I heard him say, like, we're gonna put this place here because the energy is gonna enter there, and then the people will become like that, and we have to grow food in this area, and we have to put this in this cave, and you know, um, someone that he knew, he had access to the information, and he shared to anyone who wanted to listen. So I remember that, and I remember our time together when I was studying with you in Seattle, like,
Mm.
and your apprentice. And um, at the time, I thought, oh, this is just fun. It's so fun. It's learning so many things, and we do ceremonies, and we have good time together. And recently, maybe I don't know, half a year ago or a little more, when my second son was born,
Mm.
I started to have like a really difficult time struggling with. It was complicated birth and the
Mm.
weather, the climate, the husband. Because of the coronavirus, my parents couldn't come visit. They haven't met the baby. We didn't have any help.
Mm.
Okay, a lot of stuff. And then I just thought like, oh, I would have rather just prefer to still be in Seattle and have fun and learn and do things like this. But my spiritual guides, they told me, you cannot be in training forever.
Sí.
You've been trained. We gave you the information. You knew this was gonna happen. So what are you gonna do now when is the time to apply everything that was passed on?
Yes.
How? And of course, I didn't like the answer as usual. I didn't understand anything, and but I noticed something. I noticed something. I noticed that I I consider myself to be humorous, to be funny, to have like easy, mm, yeah, easy understanding, and I notice I haven't been laughing, or I haven't have any humor for many months. Like basically, like I couldn't see fun in anything. Like everything was bothering me, and so I noticed, oh, I lost my sense of humor. And I remember you said one time, when we lose our sense of humor, we have lost track. We are too deep into the little details of something that might not be so important.
Sí.
So I thought, oh, how can I recover this? And it was not so difficult because life is funny all the time.
Mm.
So the only thing I thought to do was to imagine that I am not the character, but I'm looking the scenario through the TV or something. And
Oh
this
my
is a
God.
reality show of some woman. And I started to notice that everything that was bothering me, those little details that were stupid, like, I don't know. When I cook, I like to put the heat in the pan very high, and my husband always come and lower down.
Oh my.
And then I come in the kitchen and say, "What the?" And I put it up again. And I leave the kitchen to go with the kid. He come put it down. So I'm like, then if I'm too much into my cloudiness, I just get angry. But then I thought it must be really funny seeing someone going like, "What the?" and then turning down, and then what the? Then so then I started to laugh, and I said, "Okay,
Oh, that's great,
it's
Claudia.
not so difficult. It's not something to get a divorce for. You
Yeah.
know, it's just little things that it can be funny."
Dang.
So I helped myself a little bit to get out of the heaviness and, lighten up a little bit the situation, rise the vibration, improve the energy, and come into more balance. And all the family benefits from that.
Hmm.
And all the others who relate with us also benefit from that.
See, yeah, they do. They do. And uh, well, I have a piece that I want to read, and then I have a couple of thoughts. But I would really like to read this Mary Oliver poem called "Today." Would that be okay?
Yes.
Um, I just want to make sure that I'm in alignment with where we're where you're going. So I just thought of it, that it would be nice to read. There's a couple of poems that I have, but this one's by Mary Oliver, and it says "Today." And it says, "Today I'm flying low and I'm not saying a word. I'm letting all the voodoos of ambition sleep. The world goes on as it must. The bees in the garden rumbling a little, the fish leaping, the gnats getting eaten, and so forth. But I'm taking the day off, quiet as a feather. I hardly move, though really I'm traveling a terrific distance. Stillness, one of the doors into the temple. Stillness, one of the doors into the temple." And so I was just what you just said about the stove. It reminded me of like the gnats, the little gnats are getting eaten and but it also reminded me of the voodoos of ambition. And I just love how she says the voodoos of ambition. And I just haven't heard it said that way anywhere else. But there's something about, we have all these ambitions, I think, and we think we're supposed to do all these things and have all of these processes. And, we have this ambition maybe to have the perfect marriage, quote unquote, or, to really feel like, we're this great, 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 greatest ever parent that has ever been on the face of the planet.
Mm.
We have this ambition to be a great friend and to be a great healer and to be a great, mentor. And, you know, and what happens if we let those ambitions sleep, or if we're not trying to be someone or be something or get all into our you know our wanting to get somewhere. And I think there's some competition in that, and I think there's such a thing as healthy competition, but I think really what we need is we need to be supporting one another and not competing with one another as best we can to really support one another's medicine, because we're all needed, and especially as healers. But we also need to have a good time. I think you're right. I think we've really gotten wrapped up in all of the sorrows, and fucking trust me,
Mhm.
there are sorrows, darling. We know that. I mean,
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, one of my beloved sisters has lost three family members just
Oh.
to the COVID. And yeah, so it's heavy duty. It is, death has come knocking, and death does not care what you think about anything. Death just does what death wants. And so uh just the sorrow of that, and um the deep knowing that things are changing, and we have got uh, uh, a lot to attend to. And in that process, it's, one of the things that I notice is I notice that it's the people who are able to maintain, you know, the are able to face the grief, feel the grief, and still feel joy. Or like for the presence of the persons of those people's lives. Like there's a poem that I deeply love called, I think it begins with "Give my love away. When I'm gone, give my love away," And so it's, how, for her, there's grief and there's, the joy of their presence in her life. And maybe she won't be able to feel that for a while. Maybe none of us can feel that for a while. But one of the things my mother taught me that was so powerful for me was that grief and joy can coexist. And I appreciate what Brene Brown says about, in one of her talks on TED Talk, I think it was her first talk on TED Talks, it's just, instead of having feelings, she'd rather have a beer and 2 banana nut muffins,
Yeah.
It's like, maybe I don't want to have those feelings, but what you're saying that I appreciate so much is that we need to feel. And I don't think it's just only, one feeling, but in order to have a sense of humor, we must be able to access joy um, and the ability to access all of our feelings is required in order to experience joy. So the sorrow, the grief, the beauty, all that is sacred here about our lives, and to feel those things deeply in our sorrow, but also to be able to touch joy. And
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I think of what you're saying now about what we're experiencing as humankind at this moment in the world. Is it's incredible, like so much death. And I don't mean that it's funny in any way, but what I think is like, why should we take ourselves so serious with things that are not important? Now that we are being shown that we can lose the life in any moment. Like I have a dear friend in Mexico who just died from COVID also, and he was young and sports, and you know, he had a son. So what I think is that why should we take ourselves so serious in aspects that are like now I go to the school and the teacher say, oh, but you wrote a comma instead of a period.
right.
Well, yeah.
Well, it's
I'm the stupid one, teacher. Okay.
right, totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that
And
the meaning, what has the meaning?
yeah. And I don't know, anyone interprets death in their own ways, but I mean, I also think about this all the time. Like any of us could die now because of the virus. No, I'm talking to you, and maybe tomorrow I'm not.
Yeah, right. We don't know. Like this could be. I have to fulfill this day, right?
Yes.
You know?
And do I want to waste my energy um, into spreading anger, or I want to just waste my energy into spreading love, or
Hmm.
how can I relate in a way that for me it's more nurturing and more valuable?
Hmm.
And so that for me was when I uh, realized that I can use humor as a tracking device.
Yes.
Tracking device.
Yes.
Mm.
Claudia, that's so beautiful. I love what you just said. That's so powerful. What do I want to spend my time doing? I mean, what if this is the day? What if this is what I get? What if this is the day that I get? How do I want to experience the world? Um, and yes, and in the Mexican tradition, we have the Day of the Dead. We have the Days of the Dead, and we have those beautiful, sugar skulls, and we have, like we are friends with death, you know. I mean, at least that's what I was taught, is that death is our friend. And I talk to death, you know, frequently and say, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
So I think about that, and I wonder, you know, I wonder about something actually one of my mentors had said was, um, you know, the person who makes the joke at the funeral is the healer in the family. You know, the one who has maintained their sense of humor, and the one who can continue to, you know, think that things are, um, you know, can still see the joy in life, like that is the healer in that family, and that is the person who wants to bring the healing to the families, you know, or to the event, or to the person, is the person who has the joy. And so I always thought that was something really interesting, that she said, oh, the healer is the one who makes the joke. You know, so it's, wow, like, oh, you know, not everybody's always happy about that. I know I've had my judgment
No.
about, like, well, you can't make a joke right now. This is serious business
Yeah.
here, you know. And you're like, oh, that's the healer. Oops. You know, so it's like, I think there's something so powerful, Claudia, about what you're saying, and it feels like, you know, it's just like all of life. You know what I mean? Like, how can we have all of life in life, instead of going, well, this is the kind of life that I will allow into my life, and this kind of life is not allowed into my life, and I'll take two of these and one of those and none of those, you know? So it's just kind of interesting to think about that. And
Yeah.
and,
Yes, I
mhm.
think so.
Mhm. Beautiful. And so, what do you think is most needed at this time for people in order to maintain their equilibrium, that balance that you were talking about initially? And you know, what is your sense of how people can really engage in that way with themselves?
Yeah. Well, I think that from my experience as healer and doctor and person and woman, and what people needs in order to keep the balance is to really do self-care, like to tend to
Oh,
that need. Um, I think nowadays we have so many distractions. You know, even if people has to be inside of their houses, you have the TV, you have the Netflix, you have the internet, you have the Facebook. So you have a lot of reasons to not pay attention to yourself.
yeah.
Oh, I'm so tired. I need to sleep, but I want to watch this movie because blah blah blah. So, and then I think that, and that is just a simple thing, no? Like needing to sleep, or maybe the need is to be comforted, or maybe the need is to take a walk in nature. So if we tend to that need, we stop bugging the others for giving us whatever we cannot give to ourselves.
Oh,
Hmm.
yeah, it's true. Yeah,
Yeah, so I
the
think
blame
that
game,
is it.
right?
Yes, I need a kiss, but I need you to give it to me. And you have to think it first.
See, so you go first, and then
Yeah.
the other person may follow.
Or maybe they don't have a clue that you need a kiss. How will they know?
Sí, amor. Yeah.
So I think, yeah, to bring us into balance, it could be that we tend to our needs, do self care, pay attention to ourselves, or listen to our own hearts,
Mm.
listen to us, pay attention to us, take care of us. It's like a plant. If you don't pay attention, usually they don't go very well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
You need that
yeah,
water.
they don't feel well if you don't give them water. Yeah. So I think overall everything comes back to that. Even in the medicine, usually many of the people that comes to see the doctor just need some confirmation. Many is just fear. Like I have a, I don't know, I have a lump in my head. Is it cancer? No, you hit your head. Don't you have, you know, it's not cancer.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. And then it's cured.
Sí. Oh. Sí, muy bien. It's true.
So yeah, and there's a lot of fear now, like in the world. So I think also like that, just some comfort, some yes, everything will be fine, and that release the spirit, and oh, it's everything's gonna be fine, and that is also good healing.
Yeah, I think there's something, it kind of triggers something in my mind. I know we're wrapping up now, but it did trigger a little something in my mind about how, we can ask for what we need from others. Like if we want the kiss from our partner and our partner isn't giving us the kiss that we haven't told them that we want, and then we're mad at them because we haven't told them and they haven't done it. Right?
Exactly. You know that drama is like every movie.
It's like, oh, okay. I mean, what if we could ask? You know what I mean? Like, I think there's also something just so beautiful that when asking, but to ask for something is also very vulnerable. It's like it opens us to all kinds of things, and we don't always want to be open to all kinds of things, but it's important that we can be with our partners, and so I wonder how we could ask for those things from ourselves, and how do you think maybe people could hear themselves a little bit better, or how could they pay attention to what they need for their self-care?
Mm, I think everyone knows in the deep inside, but for me, what I have learned, it's always the body will tell you. Like if you're thirsty, your body will. If you need water, the body will say you're thirsty. Drink water.
Drink some water.
For me, it's a really good tool. Yeah, I can see many things that the body expresses when we don't have the attention or the capacity to do. Like I've noticed that like 100% of the patients that has come to me with a cold is because they haven't rested, they haven't slept. 100%. And what happens when you get a cold? You have to be in bed for 3 days and then you function well. So little things like that, for me, it's very easy to notice in the body. But other people can. Also, another thing I've learned is like, what am I eating?
See.
When I feel I'm craving chocolates, or I'm craving sweets, I'm craving candies, maybe I need some more sweetness in my life.
Oh, Claudia, that's so beautiful.
Maybe if I'm craving hot, spicy food, if I'm craving, maybe I need more activity in my life.
Or warmth, right? Like
warmth. Yes, exactly. I need more warmth in my life. So there's many ways to understand this, and that's the two that I have learned for me. Maybe people has other ways. Some people write, some people sings, some people dances.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, if anyone wants to put what they do for self-care in the comments below, we would love it. We would love to see the practices that you do in your life that could help all of us. Yeah,
Yes.
I feel the same way, Claudia, and that the body will tell me. But I also find that the world is always trying to communicate with us, our internal world and our external world, right? So, and something so beautiful happened. I'm at Nine Muses, which you're very familiar with. Um, and
Beautiful place.
so beautiful. I love it so much. And there's a little bit of snow, but not a lot. And we have a little deer tribe that is here.
Mm.
But today, for the very first time, I saw the stag, and he is so
Wow.
glorious, and and his beautiful antlers. And I think he's probably a 10-point buck, which is,
Wow.
yeah, really something. And just the beauty and, his stillness and how he was paying attention. And so I was really paying attention to him to see what I needed to pay attention to. And he was very careful, and there's probably no acreage in the entire, I don't know, probably there is, but in the entire state of Idaho that's as safe as this acreage for him. Like, it could not be safer. But he was still so alert, and he was listening so carefully and paying such close attention, and any noise that he heard, he paid attention. And so I think that that's really part of the key for me, around doing what I need to do to take care of myself and to take care of what is most essential to me, is really noticing, like, oh, where is it that I need to pay attention, and starting at home, really starting at home. And so I have another piece that I would like to share. And is there anything else that shows up for you? Like, maybe, is there an exercise that you think that might help people, that might be something people could kind of practice over the next week, until we do our next medicine talk next week, hopefully with
And exercise for what?
you, just to to connect with their sense of humor. No.
Yeah.
And yeah, right. Woo, you got some nice, yeah. What do they call it? So yeah, I think that it's nice if people can have a practice of some kind, to maybe access their feelings, their sense of humor, in a way that allows them to have, because feelings kind of coexist, right? I think sometimes we're like, oh, if I have this feeling, I can't have this feeling, which we were kind of talking about earlier. But what do you think would be a good practice for people so that they could access their feelings, but especially their sense of humor, and kind of be at peace with them?
Mm. Well, an exercise to call it by that is maybe what happened to me. Just, can you see yourself from the outside? What if you were some public or someone who's looking at you from the outside?
Yeah.
And what do you see? And if what you see, is that what you mean? Like, that's what you're trying to express? Or does that reflects what you have in the inside? If it matches, that's great. But if it doesn't matches, then there is an opportunity to do it different, or not do it, or there's an opportunity to change there. So I don't know if I could call that an exercise, but that was something that came to me and worked.
Thank you, Claudia. I totally didn't prepare you for that. So thank you. You just arrived with something wonderful out of the, without any preparatory.
But you didn't prepare me for, yeah. No, you didn't prepare me for any of this.
I'm so happy that you're so so flexible.
But it's better to be spontaneous.
I think so. I think that. And thank you, Claudia. I'm going to finish with this poem by Lao Tzu. It's from some of his writing, and it says, "If you look to others for fulfillment, you will never be truly fulfilled. If your happiness depends on money, you will never be happy with yourself. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, The whole world belongs to you. The whole world belongs to you. Lao Tzu, Lao Tzu. So thank you so much, Claudia. I'm so grateful to you, and what an honor to be with you. And I love you. Te amo, gracias. Te amo, gracias.
Thank you, Shar. Thank you. It's really an honor for me to be with you, and I'm very grateful for you. Thank you for making the change in the world and for keeping your commitment.
Oh,
I love you, Shar.
I love you
Te
too.
amo, gracias.
Te amo, gracias.